Back here at home, changes to the capital gains tax are now in effect despite pushback from businesses, farmers, and doctors across the country. So as of today, when assets like stocks or homes that aren't a primary residence are sold and the gains are more than $250,000, two-thirds of that will be taxable. Until now, only half of the profits were taxed. The higher inclusion rate also applies to all capital gains realized by corporations. Ottawa believes this will generate more than $19 billion in revenue over the next 5 years. Joining me now to discuss is a realtor from Muskoka in Ontario, Catharine Inniss. Catharine, good morning. Thanks so much for being with us. So I spoke with one of your colleagues a few weeks ago when the capital gains tax changes were announced, and they predicted that a lot of people would be trying to sell cottages before this day came. What have you been seeing in the last little while?
There was a flurry of activity at the first announcement. We did see a few more sales, probably I'd say somewhere between 15 and 18% more sales at this time of year. It was mainly used as a negotiating point to get sellers to, if they wanted to sell, to move and get it done before today, the 25th, and also buyers to step forward and point out to sellers that how much money they were going to save by taking perhaps a little bit less than they wanted to from the buyer, but saving overall. So we didn't see any drastic changes, which is not unusual for Muskoka. We're usually pretty stable here, a lot of buying and selling all the time, but not major dips here and there.
How will the changes affect cottage owners? Can you sort of spell it out for us in simple terms?
Well, they won't affect cottage owners who get professional advice. It's really important to talk to a realtor who is experienced and or an accountant about how to perhaps put your property in a living trust. There are all sorts of different techniques that you can use to protect your property. And I can give you just a quick example of what not to do. I was chatting with a gentleman who owns a water access property the other day who had invested in having an appraisal done. It wasn't inexpensive because he thought he might make that his primary residence. And we could have told him from the beginning that there is the government will not let you choose to have your primary residence as a water access property. So you can save a lot by going to the experts.
But I just want to be clear, there's really no way of getting around it, correct, when you sell? Like, I hear your point about seeking the advice of a realtor, but the law comes into effect today.
Oh, yes. If you are, if it is your secondary residence and not your primary residence, which you can, if you spend enough time at your cottage, you can designate that as your our primary residence. If it is your secondary residence, then you will, and you want to sell, you will be paying the capital gains.
Catharine, thanks so much for taking the time to speak with us this morning. Catharine Inniss is a realtor in Muskoka, Ontario's cottage region, one of them at least.